Now, as I touched on a little bit earlier, the predictable objections from the believers, from Jews, Muslims, and Christians, are usually that God never intended for Abraham to kill his son. Yeah, that's true. Totally irrelevant. The whole point of the story is the fact that Abraham submits to the will of God. He did indeed have every intention on killing his son. It does not matter that he didn't kill his son. What matters to God, as it says in the story, is that he was willing to do so. Another common objection that you get from believers is, well, hey, he's God. God decides what's right and what's wrong. I think if you think that way, you yourself are sick and a danger to society. It means that you'll just obey authority.
There are things that a normal, morally normal, even if a morally average or mediocre person would not unprompted do. For example, hold down their daughter at the age of 6, tear off her underwear, and cut her genitalia with a sharp stone. They wouldn't do that if they didn't think God was telling them to do it. Or the mullahs, or if it's a boy, the rabbis weren't telling them to do it. It makes ordinary moral people, compels them, forces them, in some cases orders them to do disgusting, wicked, unforgivable things. There's no expiation for the generations of misery and suffering that religion has inflicted in this way and continues to inflict, and I still haven't heard enough apology for it.
Rabbi, you want to answer?
Christopher, I've got to call you down on referring to circumcision as genital mutilation. My son cried more at his first haircut than he did at his bris. And statistically...
You weren't doing it right then.
Statistically, the only long-term effect that it seems to have on people is it increases their chances of winning a Nobel Prize.
I can't find the compulsory mutilation of the genitals of children a subject for humor in that way, or flippancy in that way. Maimonides says very plainly that it's designed to repress sexual pleasure, to deprive a male child as far as possible of the opportunity of that. The full excision, not just the snip or the full mandatory covenant is fantastically painful, leads to trauma, leads to the dulling of the sexual relationship, and can be in itself life-threatening at that moment. We have the records, I can show them to you, of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds in the United States of boy babies who've died or had life-threatening infections as a result of this disgusting practice. That a person as humane as yourself can sit here and think of that as a fit subject for humor shows what I mean. Religion makes morally normal people say and do disgusting and wicked things, and you've just proved my point for me. Shame on you for saying what you just said. Shame on you for saying it about your own son, my God.
Let's move on.
Yes, let's. What next? Cutting the labia of little girls. At least Judaism doesn't do that.
This is a question.
What if a Muslim was to say to you just now, my little girl cried more at her first haircut than when I cut off her clitoris? What would you think of me if I was to say such a disgusting thing?
Well,
remember, we are not talking about detail here. We're talking about whether religion makes people behave better or not.
Let's give the rabbi a chance. I wanted to move on, but let's give the rabbi a chance to respond to what you said, because it got pretty personal here. So.
Again, my experience in my own son, my own grandson, hundreds of congregants, has been that it's not nothing like what you're talking about, and that for whatever reason that this has become an issue for you, I just think is excessive.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
That I'm more personally...
There's an undertone of innuendo to this. Let's bring it on.
No, there's no innuendo there. What I'm saying is,
sure,
you know, I've lived through this personally, and...
You've inflicted it, is what you're saying.
I've what?
You've inflicted it, or officiated at it, is what you're saying, isn't it?
Well, officiated, yes. Inflicted, no.
this story is that God created a situation and gave a choice to a person to either do the right thing or to submit. The whole point of having Abraham almost kill his son and not say a chicken or his favorite cow or something like that is to drive home the point of doing something that is so unnatural. I mean, to escape using terms like morality, which I prefer to escape, let's just go with nature. We all know it's unnatural to kill your offspring. There's something deep inside of your body that will make you rebel against such a thing. So that's the point of the story, is that this is something that goes so against the grain, so against the nature, so against what you feel in your bones, in your DNA is right or wrong. That is the point of the story. The point of the story is Abraham is willing to do the wrong thing. Bible, it is Abraham's Islam that is celebrated, his submission, his willingness to do the wrong thing. I say, that's sick.
I mean, religion makes morally normal people say and do disgusting and wicked things, and you've just proved my point for me.
Parents, what would you do if you heard the voice of God commanding you to bind and to kill your children? What would you do?
I must obey, not knowing why. I must obey.
Never. I'll never turn to the dark side.
¡Rápido, Alteza! Entregádmelo ya. La luna llena brilla en el cielo y podemos abrir el portal.
¿Qué lleváis en la mano?
El portal solo se abrirá si derramamos en él sangre inocente. Solo un poco de sangre. Un pinchazo tan solo. Es la última prueba. Vamos. Prometisteis obedecerme sin chistar. Entregadme al niño.
No. Mi hermano se queda conmigo.
Sacrificaréis vuestro derecho sagrado por este mocoso al que apenas conocéis.
Sí. Lo sacrifico.
¿Dejaréis vuestra cuna por él? Él por quien habéis sido humillada e ignorada.
Sí. La niego.
Hágase pues vuestra voluntad, Alteza. Decidle a mi hijo. Decidle a qué hora murió su padre. Decidle que yo...
No. Ni siquiera sabrá tu nombre.
Welcome aboard, non-believers, sinners, heathens, step right this way. Captain Dante at your service. Please hold on, rapids ahead.